get interactive. Joy News on TV, and it's on Facebook, but we also have a Twitter handle at Joy News on TV. You have any of the accounts?
Exactly.
Beautiful Abu Bedu.
Thank you very much.
Abu Bedu.
It's a pleasure to be with you again.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
It's a pleasure to co-host with you. This is our first time?
No, of course not. It's not our first. So get interactive on Facebook and Twitter. So you're Joy News on TV.
Charlie,
Roland.
I'm blushing. This is serious. An old man like me.
Okay, let's get into the papers. Front page of the Daily Graphic. I'll make Accra cleanest city in Africa. That's according to President Akufo-Addo. And, well, he was installed as a chief of Jamestown. Interesting ceremony it was. And he mentioned in that particular ceremony that he loves the Ga people very well because his wife is one. So, you know, he was just trying to draw the link between that and his love.
And he also said that when he was growing up in Accra, indeed, as my dad used to tell me, Jamestown and those old British Accra areas used to be like the way we have Rage and all.
Yeah, they used to be the plush areas, yes, but now, unfortunately,
but now
well,
we just didn't seem to keep the environment as we needed it to
and keep up the pace of development. I think that as we go, we forget some of these suburbs, and then we keep, you know, creating new ones, and then we forget about them. But well, he says he'll make Accra a cleaner city in Africa, and not in Ghana alone. But on the front page too, a very controversial story that's been building over the weekend. Yoko orders Ibrahim Mahama to pay 12.7 million Ghana cedis within 2 weeks. That story is on page 16. I'll be giving you some extracts. This one says, let's be circumspect in discussing $2 billion bond. That's according to the First Bank MD Roland. You know, the opposition has been raising some allegations in that particular bond, and this is coming from the First Bank MD. He's asking us to be circumspect in how we discuss the bond. This says, surrender all excavators within 30 days. Amiu directs equipment operators, and IGP urged to wage war against lawlessness. That story is on page 81. But let's go to page 16. Page 16 now, that story about Yoko. All right, this says the Economic and Organized Crime Office, Yoko, has given Mr. Ibrahim Mahama, the Chief Executive Officer of Engineers and Planners, a private engineering firm, a 2-week ultimatum to pay almost 13 million Ghana cedis, being import duties and interest on equipment he brought into the country. A source at Yoko told the Daily Graphic that although the Ghana Revenue Authority had an arrangement with Mr. Mahama to pay the amount totaling about some 13 million Ghana cedis within a certain period, he failed to fulfill his part of the agreement for more than a year. So there's more to that story, and I'm sure today in the papers, in some other papers, on the radio and TV, there'll be a lot of discussion there. But some have condemned the GRA, asking that, well, they have failed the states by not doing their part of the job. President Akufo-Addo has pledged to make Accra the neatest and best city in Africa by the end of his first term in office. The commitment we are making, this is a quote, the commitment we are making, and which I want you all to make with me, is that by the time we end our 4-year term, Accra is going to be the cleanest city in Africa, he stated. But Roland, we've heard this over and over again, Accra being clean and all that. It's going to be a tough one, I mean, considering the amount that they're quoting that is going to take them to even prevent floods alone in the city.
700 million we're talking.
Exactly.
Dollars.
That's a lot of money, and considering the fact that this particular government has made a lot of promises, and the first 100 days they're touting 103+1 achievements. We're just hoping that they'll be able to fulfill all of this in the 4 years. But let's do some sports now. Minnows dump Indiana Ashgold from MTN FA Cup, and Hearts overcome Mirren, and Hearts, your boy, trying to be in control. Well, there you have it in that photo. So those of you who love football, MTN FA Cup round of 64 results at a glance. It gives you all the details there, Roland. What do you have?
You love any of the foreign teams or local teams?
Oh, my team played yesterday. We lost. We lost to Barcelona.
Real Madrid.
It's fine. I'm not ashamed to say, because we were cheated.
No, but
we were cheated. Sergio Ramos should not have been given a red card. Well, I mean, someone was saying that, well, he was given the red card for his intention, because if you look clearly at that tackle, he did not even get contact.
Did you watch the match?
You get my... I watched it.
So much. That's nice.
I watched it.
And I thought that
love Real
Ronaldo
Madrid.
should have been given a penalty. There was one time in the match that he should have been given a penalty.
Sure.
But you know, it's always a very dicey situation for the referees because it's a tough match between the two top teams in La Liga.
Exactly.
But we shouldn't forget that Real Madrid still have a match in hand if they're able to win.
We still have a match
So
in hand. But I was really hurt because when we came, 2-2, I was like, yeah, this is it. I've got some bragging rights. And then Lionel Messi did his thing.
It was
If this was basketball, we'll call it is it a fast break? How do you call it in football? It was like a swift counter. We were on their side, and then when they got the ball, and I was just checking the seconds. I said, Lord, 30 seconds to go.
And in basketball, they always count down to the end. So
yeah.
Each second in basketball counts, just like in American football.
Well, unfortunately for us, Real Madrid.
But let's look at the next. Let's look at the Ghanaian Times, and on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, we have Tackle Galamsey vigilantism. Other vices, ban of God tells IGP, and then we have gunmen strike again, killing girl 15 at Nkonya, and apparently the police record 177,241 criminal cases, and that story is on page 3. Quite interesting. It talks about how the Ghana Police Service has recorded a total of that number, and that's 177,241 criminal cases across the country just last year alone, as against 186,434 the previous year, representing a decrease of some 9,193. Charlie, and this from the CID Director General, Bright Odro. We'll see how that goes. Other stories we have on the front page, Jamestown honest president, and on the back page of the paper we are hats through, and they're through to the stage 32 of the ongoing MTN FA Cup with a 2-1 victory over second-tier side Sporting Marin at the Accra Sports Stadium. We have Magdan Open Tennis starts today. That's West Africa Tennis Championship starting today. And for those of lovers of tennis, especially local tennis, please make sure that you go to the courts and witness those matches. Great tennis highlights, and I love tennis as well. Protocol progress. Ash Gold. Do I play? No, I don't. I wish I did, though, but I don't.
All right, Daily Guide, front page, Ibrahim, 44 bounced checks, Yoko probes customs. And, it has a photo of President Akufo-Addo being honored as chief of English Alata traditional area, saying that I'll make Accra one of the best. So, he's expressed grave concern about the filth that has engulfed the nation's capital, Accra, and promised to rid the city of the mess. He made this assertion when the chiefs and people of Jamestown, otherwise known as English, bestowed a title, Ni Kweku Ablade Okojiaman I, on him and his wife Rebecca, Na Koko Ablade I. Well, while expressing concern about the growing level of filth in the city, Nanado noted, I think in my time we have to bring back the glory of Jamestown and British Accra, and we are going to do that. Okay, so my chief background is affecting my pronunciation.
What did you say?
I hear it's Okojiman, right? Not can you help me?
They say Okojiman.
Okojiman it is, not
Okojiman even Okojiman is more fancy than anything. I think
really?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I need to trace my roots again. But Ibrahim,
no, but that's what we're told to say, but I don't know whether that's the right pronunciation.
You're not sure that's even correct.
The right, yeah.
So I said it right
it's
the
debatable.
First time. All right, anyway. This one, France elections. Yes, we heard about that. Macron, Le Pen through
Ablade Okojiman. I think that's what they've written.
It's Okojiman. All right, okay.
My apologies to my lead producer this morning, Derek Ekosam, the handsome gentleman.
Interesting. But government probes Indom Hotel fire. We brought you that earlier in the news. Interior Minister says he's expecting a report by close of day today. And the government to introduce tax exemptions for SMEs. Some good news for SMEs there. Ghana Gas signs big deal. The Ghana National Gas Company has signed a project implementation contract with a Chinese conglomerate, the Yantai Dre Group. The deal entails the construction of a 278-kilometer onshore natural gas pipeline infrastructure from the Takoradi Aboase enclave to the power enclaves of Tema and Greater Accra. Well, we'll see how this one goes. The recent execution of the agreement, which represents a revival of a project that was initially conceived last year, enabled the immediate commencement of site work such as topographical, geotechnical site surveys, and front-end engineering designs, which are already underway, as well as on-site civil construction activities, which will commence within the next 10 days. Good news. Well, we'll wait to see. And Senate petitions Chatham House over EC Bosses Award. Senate UK, a pro-New Patriotic Party advocacy group based in the United Kingdom, has described the nomination of Charlotte Osei, chairperson of the Electoral Commission, for a Chatham House Award as flawed and undeserving. On April 3, 2017, Chatham House London published on its website nominees for 2017 Chatham House Prize to be awarded by the Royal Institute of International Affairs of the UK. The winner would be announced at a ceremony in autumn this year. But Senate UK advocacy media team, in a statement signed by one Peter Entry-Boise Akon and others, said the reason cited by the London Chatham House to include Mrs. Charlotte Osei, who will receive the 2017 prestigious award if she wins, among other nominees, are flawed. Well, they go on and on. I'm just trying to figure out one particular
reason why.
I
guess when we read the whole story,
yeah,
we'll
but I'm sure. Okay, let me just pick this. They said, furthermore, in all cases, reformative decisions that were finally taken by the EC were foisted on the Commission by the Supreme Court of Ghana, and with compelling reasons for the EC to implement them. Well, so they are raising some concerns there. Yeah, they think that she should not be awarded. But could it be simply because they are pro-NPP, Roland? I'm just wondering when we pick up more details. This is from Nadmo. I'm sure you'll be concerned. Sorry, it says we are getting a set for the rainy season. And that's according to Nadmo. And on Friday, they've assured the public that adequate preparations are being made to manage disasters during the rainy season, which has duly started. So well, that's some good news for those of us who are scared of the rains because of all the things that we see. GNPC freezes Black Stars sponsorship. Roland. This should be of major concern to football lovers because GNPC, one of the biggest sponsors of the Black Stars, and now they're saying, well, we've frozen it. Parliament, it has emerged from Parliament that the $3 million Ghana National Petroleum Corporation sponsorship package for the Black Stars has been curtailed. Interesting. So what happens then? We need to find money from somewhere else. Well, we'll be bringing you updates on this story. But Roland, what do you have?
Okay, I have on the front page of the Daily Dispatch Canada, Japan's bombshell. My life was saved by Benefson, and the story is on the back page of the paper. And apparently, you were speaking on Asempa FM and had to thank Benefson for saving your life on a lead he gave on suspected people who wanted to take his life. And we have to say good morning to you, Uncle Benefson. We also have on the front page how weed affects sex lives. And then we have the back page. Kwesi Appiah arrives to take charge of the Black Stars. And the reappointed Ghana coach was received at the Kotoka International Airport. And he arrived back home to a rousing welcome. The 56-year-old was met on arrival by officials of the Ghana football. I said, yeah, this guy is 56, but looks so good, man, for a 56-year-old. Well, he was a sports person.
Sure, he stays fit.
Yeah, tries to stay fit. Tries to stay fit. I mean, that's the most plausible reason. And keeps himself healthy as well. NHIS is on the verge of collapse, but we will revive it according to Health Minister. Those are the stories we have.
All right.
Let's look at the last paper.
Finder ADB sinks 450 million Ghana cedi into Planting for Food and Jobs program. And, well, it was launched last week at Gorso. The president was there. Indom shocked by Coconut Grove fire. Really Really terrible news for him, I'm sure. Bank of Ghana will not finance budget deficits. That's according to the governor, Dr. Ernest Addison. He says the Bank of Ghana will not finance budget deficit. The story is on page 5. President Akufo-Addo advocates exit plan for leave beneficiaries. Exit plan. So it means that you shouldn't be staying on leave for life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess so.
that should be it.
That should be it.
Well, and Minister on Right course with Galamsey directive. That's according to Madame Joyce I. So that's it for the Finder. More details in the paper.
All right, so those are the newspapers we have. We have a lot more news as we look at the online portals. We have to go to My Joy Online, Venice. All
right, let's get on to My Joy Online. But before we do that, you know, over the weekend there's been a lot of interesting things happening on social media with the trolling. Have you been following?
Yeah, it's not all about the Kumasi Mall issues.
Yeah.
And many of the time, I think there's one on the escalator. I think that look fascinating.
Yeah.
But I think that we also have to limit the trolling on social media.
It's serious,
but of course, these are things that are out of the hands of agencies and people. And people just are on social media to troll. And I think that they should just take it in good stead.
Yeah.
It's just one of
I
those
think
things.
it started as, you know, a joke, and then it started getting really
Well, if you have somebody
heated.
on an escalator who falls down, it looks quite funny because we're said to be in a modern day and people need to be used to.
In this country, how many escalators do we have?
Yeah, that's a problem.
In this country, how many escalators do we have?
And that's why the trolling is not good, but yeah.
Just making fun of people. Anyway, on My Joy Online,
That's your home city, right?
It's my home city. What do you mean when you say home city?
All right.
My family is in Kumasi. I love Kumasi.
So yeah, we all do.
Are you sure?
I love Kumasi.
Yeah,
Kumasi
is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this says migrant crisis, charities colluded with smugglers. Wow. An Italian prosecutor says he has evidence some of the charities saving migrants in the Mediterranean Sea are colluding with people smugglers. That's quite an irony, isn't it? These why should they be colluding with smugglers? They're supposed to be saving them. Anyway, let's move on and get some more stories on myjoyonline.com. Gambia gets first visually impaired female MP. I'm sure that apostrophe S maybe missed this way there. Anyway, Gambia President Adama Barrow has appointed a visually impaired woman as a member of the country's 53-seat National Assembly. It's good news for visually impaired people. I'm sure you'll be very inspired. Ghana Gas seals deal with Chinese firm for major gas pipeline project. We brought you that earlier. And Lionel Messi scores stunning stoppage time winner as Barcelona win Clasico thriller 3-2. And Pope Francis, he says Europe migrant centers concentration camp. Pope Francis has described some of Europe's holding centers for migrants and refugees as concentration camps. That's a very terrible description, you know, because we all know what happens at concentration camps. I'm just wondering if that's exactly what's happening at these refugees.
But also
and
the
migrant
concentration
centers.
camps really have a certain history. It's from the Second World War, in which we had many of the Jews put in the concentration camps by the Nazis. So when it's termed that way, it means that. But we know that the concentration camps were known for the atrocities,
exactly.
the gassing of
putting people in gas
Jews,
chambers and all that, and that's
so
why I'm just wondering.
Yeah,
why
I
he's
don't know.
describing
I don't
it.
know whether we can.
Yeah,
but perhaps also he wants to draw people's attention, governments around the world's attention to the severity of the plight
issues,
of those who are in the concentration camps. Because we should remember, it's by no fault of theirs that they have to migrate from their war-torn countries to those areas.
But even in doing these things, you know, a lot of the countries that are hosting them are being careful because, you know,
You never
bad
know
people
who...
can, exactly.
Because we've had some would-be suspected terrorists also coming in the guise of being refugees and over time, when they have their stay or perhaps they acclimatize with the system, then they try to put together negative attitudes. Yeah. And so we have other stories as well. The next story is focusing on a government implementing required reforms to aid IMF program completion. And then it says Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has assured government will be able to implement all the required reforms to help complete the International Monetary Fund program as scheduled. We also have over 300,000 rooms in Northern Region to be sprayed against malaria. It's in 7 districts of the region, and it's as part of an indoor residual spraying campaign to prevent malaria. Okay, and apparently, Ghana is still in discussion over a possible extension of the IMF program with the IMF. Wallah ilallah. Yeah.
Well,
all right.
Well, Akufo-Addo promises to make Accra cleanest in Africa. That's the top story, Roland, on myjoyonline.com. Well, and in entertainment circles, veteran Nollywood actor Olumide Bakare has died. Does he look familiar?
I don't remember him from the few Nigerian films I've watched. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm sure he's maybe one of their local, because they have these local movies they do in their local dialects.
Maybe what the Igbo or the Yoruba industry, Olumide.
Why women should get in training for menopause? It's something a lot of young women don't like to hear.
Yeah.
It's almost like a bomb, bomb waiting for you.
But for example, when you are around my age and you have your friends who are your age mates, etc., when they're approaching, some of them tend to have a lot more of the things that they should have been witnessing in their mid-40s or 50s. They tend to witness it earlier because of the changes in the diet, etc., and the hormones. So you get to have some of your friends, female friends, tell you some of their experiences. And I believe that is something everybody needs to embrace and acclimatize.
That's what I'm saying. But if you're a young lady like myself, it's it's almost like it's a bomb waiting for you, menopause.
Well, that is if you're thinking about it. But
no, but you should think about it with all the things that you're saying, because some people now have early menopause. You need to plan. So, for example, if you have an early menopause, you were thinking that, you have your first child at 32 and you have an early menopause at 30. That's really disturbing. It's very
I'm not sure you're going to have... few people have early menopauses at 30, but even though some do, but averagely.
But you see, you don't know if you're going to form part of
Why would you want to have your first child at 32?
Why wouldn't you want to have your first child at 32?
Okay. Everybody in the choices they make, I guess.
All right, CTFM Online, Accra will be cleaner city after my tenure. That's according to President Akufo-Addo. More excavators from mining sites within 30 days. Group Indum counts lost after fire accident. And this one says, I take responsibility for NDC's Central Region defeats. That according to Ricketts Hagan. We still don't know what that report is of finding out what actually caused the NDC's loss in the 2016 elections. We are still waiting to find out that. But the 21-day hashtag Stop Galamsey Now ultimatum story, CTFM has some infographics on it. If you are interested, the Ministry of Information to rebrand government and IGP inducted into
Can we
office.
look at the infographics? CTFM Online, they like doing a lot more of those infographics. Very nice one. Let's take a look at it and see what we can get from it. Let's go up. It talks about Galamsey story over the past 21 days. You have the minister giving an ultimatum, a 3-week ultimatum, and they said well, there was a launch, but also before then, 3 Chinese, 3 Ghanaians arrested for illegal mining. Then you have 4 Chinese, or before then, 4 Chinese, 3 Ghanaians, illegal miners arrested again.
April 7.
And then you had April 19 or April 9, 4 Chinese illegal miners arrested, weapons seized in the process. And then you go down, April 12, Chief Justice Georgina Wood designates a special court to deal with Galamsey cases. And then you come to the 14th, and this is great. Yeah. So beautiful.
Announces voluntary surrender of some mining equipment. The land minister doing that. April 17, Vice President Dr. Bawumia announces suspension of issuance of small-scale mining licenses. Minerals Commission boss Tony Obin announces voluntary surrender of over 400 mining. Well, so there you have it. That's very interesting infographics there. Let's get on to the BBC Outsider.
No, let's read this one. Outsider Macron.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to read.
No, this one is the BBC payment. We'll go to the Africa page. So let's look at this one, Bernice, if we can.
Yeah, Outsider Macron sets sights on presidency. Interesting one. And BBC Africa page, top conservationist shot in Kenya. And you know, she also had a facility, a hospitality place that was attacked by herdsmen. They've been.
I think they don't like that she campaigns for them not to be poaching animals in the reserves and things like that.
Well, Keitani record at London Marathon. And, well, that story was on my jawline. Migrant NGOs colluding with smugglers. And, well, there you have it. BBC.
And apparently, she broke Paula Radcliffe's, that's a British woman, only world record to win the London Marathon, while Daniel Wanjuru took victory in the men's race. Yeah. Well, let's go. Let's go. Okay. So now we're wrapping up for sports now, and Benedict also will be here with the latest of the details. You know, there was an FA Cup match in England in which Chelsea progressed to the semi-finals of the FA Cup in England, beating Tottenham, and that was great. Good victory. Bum.
Are you a Chelsea fan?
Yes. Bum. Everybody was here. Tottenham is something.
But Tottenham is good.
Tottenham to the title.
Tottenham is good.
Oh, yeah.
You guys just picked up your.
We just gave them bum. Sit down, bum.
4 goals to 2.
I'm
sure you were sitting on the edge of your seats.
Yeah, when it was 2-2.
Yeah, when it was 2-2.
Well, it was not easy.
It's okay. I don't really follow the EPL. My heart is in
Spain. It's always in Spain.
Yeah.
You speak Spanish?
No,
you look like a woman who can speak Spanish.
Well, I should learn properly. Well, it's now time for sports, and Benedict will join us shortly with some details. And I know, he's gonna laugh at me, but it's okay. Real Madrid, you're still the best.
Yeah, they're still hanging in there. I think they'll win the La Liga, though.
We will win.
We haven't won in over 10 years.
Just watch us.